Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, we have continued to work with Fair Share Housing towards putting the plan that was discussed at the last meeting, agreed upon by the township, into effect. It's going to take time and many steps to do that. It falls, as I stated, it does not mean that there's any approvals for these properties. It means that the committee has quite a bit of work to do, and so does the planning board, to take a look at various planning issues so that these projects are constructed or planned in such a way to protect the overall character of the community. There's two steps that are ongoing right now. We're getting ready to ask the court for approval of the town's third round plan, and that'll be sometime in the spring. And the second issue is to start the process, it's appropriate to ask the planning board, by way of a resolution, to conduct a study with respect to both the Pine Plaza and the River Park properties, a study to see if there are areas that are deemed per the law as areas in need of redevelopment. So tonight I would just ask the governing body if they would consider a resolution to ask the planning board to authorize the planner to undertake an investigation to determine whether the area, which in this case it's River Park, would be an area in need of redevelopment, and that's for blocks, I have to read into the record the property blocks and lots, but it's block 3801 lot 2, block 4101 lots 1 and 23, to see if in fact they qualify as an area of redevelopment. That'll give the town more tools for effective planning. Again, it doesn't mean there's any type of approval, and as stated at the last presentation, it's within certain guidelines. Things like Legion Place are not included for any development for this particular project. Same with certain setbacks and restrictions from Eden Lane. But it's just to conduct that study. So that would be the first motion I would ask if the governing body would consider. And that again would be to ask the planning board to conduct a study to see if the River Park property qualifies for an area in need of redevelopment.
Do you need that action tonight?
I would, Mayor, I spoke to the administrator and asked if that would be okay if we would proceed that way, just to keep
accept your verbal descriptions as a resolution?
Yes, we will memorialize that.
I'll move to recommend the planning board to conduct an assessment of area need as specified by the attorney.
We have a second?
Seconded.
We have a second by Mr. Francioli. On roll call, on the motion, and on the recommendation of the township attorney, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Ferramaster.
Aye.
Mr. Mahalka.
Yes.
Mr. Cahill.
Yes.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
And that resolution will be memorialized in writing.
And then, thank you, Mayor. The second action would be as it relates to Pine Plaza and that shopping center and some of the ancillary properties as well. Again, just to evaluate whether that property is one that would qualify for an area redevelopment. This would be a study for the Pine Plaza parcels and some of the ancillary commercial parcels next to Pine Plaza that may very well be need or part of ultimately a redevelopment. And here as well, I would ask for a motion of the governing body with one distinction, that there's a request that it's considered whether the area of redevelopment will also qualify for this type of redevelopment plan, which could include condemnation. That doesn't mean it would include condemnation, but it gives the option if in fact there was a property, commercial property, that was in need of that type of change, whereby it wouldn't disrupt the rest of any type of improvement for a project. So this would be a request for redevelopment, a redevelopment study for the Pine Plaza property, as well as some of the ancillary properties surrounding Pine Plaza, the commercial ones along Route 10. So I would ask the governing body as well if they would consider a motion to ask the planning board just to conduct that study. And I should note that the Township Committee is also looking and interviewing planners to recommend to assist in these studies. And in both studies, both Pine Plaza and River Park must pay for whoever you hire as a planner, no matter what the outcome is. It's for an independent type of evaluation.
I'll make a motion to recommend to the planning board to conduct an assessment of an area needs study for Pine Plaza per the attorney's stipulations.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Firmaska, seconded by Mr. Gallagher. On roll call, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Firmaska.
Aye.
Mr. Mahalko.
Yes.
Mr. Cahill.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved, and again, this resolution also will be memorialized in writing for the record.
Thank you. And thank you, Mayor. That's my
Thank you very
report.
much, Fred.